we're going to look at extending what we already know about multiplying multiples of 10 to go into my favorite multiplication strategy. And this is what students have generally termed the Miss S method. Now, I did not invent this method. Someone showed it to me, and this was something that had come up, and it was a light bulb moment for me, and this is why I speak passionately about it, because this method makes the most sense to me. So I left up the multiplying multiples of 10 questions from the other video, and we're just going to look at a couple of these because we've already solved a lot of them. So I'm going to look at 40 times 4 first. So in the last video, we looked at multiplying the first digits together, which gave us 4 times 4 is 16, and then adding a 0. What I'd like to do right now is change this a bit. So we have 47 times 4. So 47 times 4 is really what I say is in disguise. So 47 is actually 40 and 7. So 40 and 7. In our place value unit, we looked at this and called this expanded form, because there is no difference between 47 and 40 plus 7. So since this is 40 plus 7, what we can do, since it's 40 plus 7 times 4, what we can do is do the same strategy as the multiplying multiples of 10, because 40 times 4 we already solved this, was 160. Okay, so we know that 47 is larger than 40, but by doing this front end first, we know that our answer has to be larger than 160. So this is one way that we estimate as we're going along. So if we need to decide, we need to figure out exactly what is this answer. We've already multiplied the 40 and the 4, but we still have 7 4s left over. So what we're going to do is multiply that 7 times 4, which is 28, and then add those together. So when we add them together, we have 188. I'm going to take another question, and we're going to break it down a little more. So let's try 55 times 55. I'm going to go up to the board for this one. So 55 times 55 is really two numbers in disguise. If we look at this 5, the value of it is not 5. The value of it is 50. So it's 50 and 5 and 50 and 5. 50 and 5 and 50 and 5. So what we can do from here is look at this, and remembering that we need to multiply each digit by each digit. So 50 times 50, do our front end, we have 5 times 5, which is 25, 2 zeros. So we know right away that our answer is going to be larger than 2,500. Okay. The reason we know that is because we still have digits in the ones column. So we still have a 5 and a 5. If we multiply those together, we have 25. So our answer needs to be larger than 2,525. So what I would like to try right now is some practice with is looking at the value of each digit. So the 67, when we're multiplying, we don't look at it as 67 just because there's too much other stuff going on. So we can look at 67 as 60 and 7. We can look at 89 as 80 and 9. We can look at 243 as 240 and 3, and 70, fortunately, it already ends in a 0, so we already know it's a multiple of 10. So let's look back at this 55 times 55. So what we would consider this to be is a estimate. So our estimate would be that this number, 55 times 55, is at least 2,525. I'm going to take this 55 times 55 and I'm going to write it over here. Exactly how we would see a multiplication question written traditionally. Okay. So we need to multiply each one together. So we start with the traditional method as 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, no problem. We also need to multiply 5 times 5 5 times this number. Now, when I'm looking at this number, it looks like a 5, but it's not a 5. It's actually a 50. 50 times 5, like we said 50 times 5, as we said a little bit earlier, is 250. The reason I got that so quickly is because I multiplied the first two numbers together, or the first two digits together to get 25 and 1 extra. Okay, so we have already covered this 5. We've multiplied this 5 by this 5 and this 5. Don't have any more to go. We're now going to look at this 5, which is also disguised. It's in disguise. It looks like a 5. It is not a 5. It is a 50. 50 times 5, we just looked at this over here, is 250. And then the last thing that we need to do is multiply this 5 times this 5. Now, both of those 5s are in disguise. They are not actually 5s. They are 50s. So we're multiplying 50 times 50. 5 times 5 is 25 and 2 zeros. Okay. So we've multiplied each digit by everything we've needed to multiply. Now all we need to do is add, just like we would be doing with the traditional method. 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. 2 plus 5 is 7, is 12. 5 and 5 is 10. So our answer is 3,025. So if you watch the traditional video that I had put up, I said that it can be a little confusing. Because if we were to get an answer that was completely out to lunch, we might not actually recognize it as being such. So by getting an answer of 3,025, if we look back at our estimate, we can say that 3,025 is bigger than our original estimate. We knew it was going to be because we only multiplied a few of those digits. I'm going to do a couple more examples, but I'm going to leave this as it is right now for this video. It's already 10 minutes, holy moly. So I'll do a couple more examples in a part 2 of this method.